So that does that help? Is that we work together. So the
Yes,
C-suite
yes.
is really your executive management group. So that's really who I am. And so I'm helping the owner to see you need to operate like a CEO. Stop being a business owner that has a job. Start being a business owner that has a business. And that means that you need to have relationships with people like yourself and like Tristan and others, legal, HR, on a fractional basis. You may not need them all the time, but you need to have these relationships. So when something happens, you can proactively or reactively, I guess, really,
Yes.
go to these people and make sure that everything's set up. Are you doing a merger? Are you looking for venture capital, money, those kinds of things? That's where the CPA could help you, but maybe not. Maybe they don't have a background in that. The bookkeeper for sure couldn't help you, but I can help you. And so, it's those kinds of things. And I have relationships with people that can do even better than I can in some of those specific things. And I'm totally okay with that because I'm all about making sure the business owner gets what they have. So they can have what a big corporation has that is generally, yes, an individual, a department, whatever. But remember, we are not revenue producing. And so because of that, that's where we have to be more efficient in what we do and how we do things and learning how to communicate. And that's where technology really brings a lot of opportunity to establish policies and procedures that are consistent, that help to maintain an accurate financial statement and balance sheet, right? Because they tell the story of the business. But what if they're not telling the right story? What if they're telling the story you think they're telling, but you take them to a mortgage broker or to a lender and they go, this doesn't look right. They have more questions. You have to make sure you're thinking of your audience,
Yes.
those kinds of things. So as a team, we would always operate as a team. So I like meeting all the people that work with them because I don't want to have me saying one thing and somebody saying another thing.
Okay. So I'd like to run by you all a big business event. Let's say a succession plan is big, whether it be
Yes.
internal,
Yes.
whether it be an internal transfer of the business, a family, key person, or outsider. Three big
Yeah.
categories of the business being sold
And
or
and then I'm interrupt, but I do, I guess. But that I do ask my clients, that's one of my first questions is what is your exit strategy? Whether it's 5 years from now, 20 years from now, because that drives your strategies,
yes,
your goals, your short and long-term goals. And they can change. It can change,
sure,
but I think that, sorry, but I
yes,
agree that that's a very important thing.
yes, death, disability, retirement,
Yep.
walk away, transfer, sale of stock. There's
Sure.
another one.
Any number of ways. ESOPs, all those kind
Yes,
of things.
I can go right. Where that litany comes from is putting business agreements together for businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So those are all the contingencies that have to be part or should be part of a shareholders agreement or a business buy sell agreement. Death, disability, walk away, transfer. I can almost say it in my sleep. But anyway,
Yeah. So the business event.
yeah, so a major business event is occurring, which means it's going to pass ownership by virtue of a death or all of the above. So then was who is called upon? The bookkeeper, I think, is pretty straightforward. It's all set up. Systems are already for how the flow of the money gets categorized. Uh, so who's a business broker want to talk to for
Oh,
for selling the business?
and here's Tristan.
I mean, Richard, I would just sound cocky since my brokerage specializes in succession.
Right.
And again, I openly say my primary mission is to keep businesses away from private equity and family offices. I think we'll lose jobs faster. I think there's enough private owners out there who will purchase. But with that caveat, two types of succession, or rather three. There is, I want it to stay in the family, and I want my family to make money, and no one here wants to do it.
Right.
That is a detailed process that's possible, but tends to take 2 to 3 years successfully. Then there is the look. No one in here is here, and I know I don't want my business to die, and I'm okay with it not staying in the family. And now it's maximizing return. And then there's a big argument of wholesale versus, I think, going long-term terms allows you to give income long terms, and the tax implications are very different on the terms of that. And,
Right.
and then there's the third one, which is my favorite, but it's definitely not the cheapest. It's, I want to keep it in the family. There are people in the family that I believe want to do it, or I want them to do it. And we need to facilitate the 5-year process of molding them into that. To say I'm against the standard education system would be an understatement. But the greatest part of my work is when I find a family who's like, I know my child wants and can do this, and I don't know how to facilitate that. And so you really have to find out it's a very emotional thing. There are different succession people that require interviews. There are also brokers who are like, we specialize in succession, get us the listing. So, find out what is the meaning of the underlying asset to the person. It's like a house on steroids. What is their primary outcome that they would love, and what are they willing to accept? And then you want to find a succession planner that specializes in facilitating that. We're all brokers. We're used to co-brokeraging. Depending on the size of the asset, sometimes it's additional fees because it's very time intensive, and it's all the only value add is in manual work to facilitate it going on. Right. So it has to be an additional fee of 1% or 2% on it, or a flat fee. Yeah, all the financials, but we can talk, or I can send you someone in your state, or if I know someone. But yeah, talk to them and be just very honest about their wants, needs, and desires. So that way you can aim towards, you can normally hit a goal that will hit like 2 of the 3. You just have to, what are they all? And right off the bat, and just kind of hit them all levels.
Yeah, and I agree with Tristan that you need to go to a specialist like himself and his, individuals he works with, because it can take 2, 3, 4 years to get your business in order to maximize the return. And so, people think, they look at Shark Tank and stuff like that. And think, it happens overnight. It's like, no, you need to really understand. What I understand is EBITDA. Do you understand the multiples? You understand, it's not just the financials. It's more than that. And so, and there's opportunities to stay like as a consultant with the business after it's sold, to get some passive income and be available for them should they have any questions. Right. So there's all these kinds of things, but these are the kind of specialists that I would say, I know enough to know that you need to talk to someone like Tristan to make sure that that's the case. And then, he could talk to someone like you to say, okay, well, these is how we actually would implement those things. And you would have to stay in touch over time to make sure that everything's, humming along, going in the direction that it should be.
So the moral of the story is, because there's interphases and different skill sets and experience of all the players, that it's kind of pretty much a case-by-case basis. All right, who stands, because the financial advisor wants to say, which I was for 24 years, he wants to have his 2 cents, right? You've got input from all these different directions, and people have more than ever have to cooperate with one another, that are all very important. By the way, alienation was the 7th one I forgot. It's
okay.
When the owner gets a divorce. Oh my God, right?
That can be
hang
ugly.
on to your ass. Here we go.
and Richard, kind of in a sweet way to kind of sum it up, what you're always looking at is that everyone's job, they have a concern that has a priority of certain things. Like I'm basically explain, like, no, my concern is, at a CFO, we concern ourselves with a strategic application and implementation of things. When you talk with this person, finding out what they desire in their succession plan, the reason you hire someone who handles that is because their concern is implementing that person's end goals. So that way the business successfully transfers however it transfers. That's because their concern is to do that. Everyone else is going to be concerned about the financial advisor, only about the returns.
Yeah, exactly.
That owner has a wide breadth of concerns that are very human, and they are very weighted subjectively to that person. And one person should be concerned about executing that goal in and of itself, because everyone else is going to put their hand on the steering wheel. It's going to be, controlled all the way down.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up, because the financial guy thinks everything can be solved with life insurance policies. The attorney thinks everything be tweak the business agreement. The investment 401k guy doesn't want to make sure his
they're all concerned about what they're concerned about, and they should be. That's what they were hired for. you should probably get someone that's concerned about the actual succession being the way that he wants it to be.
Right.
Because it's going to be hard to find a buyer if you don't know that. He can say no for anything. Remember, anyone can hurt you by doing nothing.
Right.
Anyone can hurt you by just doing nothing.